Now it's been over 5 years since I got this from Karen for my birthday. I have enjoyed every minute of it. I have enjoyed working on it, making parts for it, painting it, doing all the modifications, all the things I thought to customize it, make it my own. They're all shared on the channel, of course, and maybe there's some things on there that you'd get some inspiration to do to your MT09. But anyway, as much as I like looking at it, and as much as I like working on it, the real thing I really like to do is have an extra cup of coffee and get out on the open road and just ride it. Some truth in advertising. I've bought and sold a lot of motorcycles in my 80 years of life. And sometimes I'd buy a bike, and the first week I had it, I was in love with it. And then second week, well, you know, I'm not so sure. And what would happen is I'd try to convince myself I made a good decision, or that there was something about the bike that I would change or modify or update or whatever. And I knew right away, less than a year into it, this bike had to go. And I've traded people for bikes that I thought I won the better of the bets, and it seems like we both lost. But anyway, what happened to me when I got the MT09 and several of the other bikes that I have in my collection, I fell in love with them right away. And then I waited for that time where I'd get bored, or I'd get where they were, I was just taking everything for granted. And the problem is, the bikes that are in my collection now, they grew on me, and in a way it's hard to really explain. And I have not gotten bored with them. Now the most likely of the things that I've done with this bike, I've redesigned the styling almost from the ground up. And it took me over 2 years to do that, and I've got a lot of videos out on my channel of making parts and changing and painting wheels and polishing things and whatever. But the big thing I did was keep the engine totally stock, keep the exhaust system totally stock. The bike gets good mileage, and that is so important to me. I don't like a bike that before 100 miles is up, I got to start looking for gas. It's just not me. But again, I customized it to suit my needs, my unique riding needs, and I was very careful along the way to make sure this is the bike I'm committed to. And now that I've gotten it, I've had it 5 years, I realize it's a keeper. It is the bike you buy and you don't trade and you don't sell, and you have enough spare parts and enough stock parts that you want to keep it in your collection, in my case, forever. One of the things I've enjoyed since owning the bike, and I won't mention anybody's name in particular, but I get emails every time I post a video with the MT09. This is not right, that's wrong, this is ugly, this is bad, this is that. So I know he's jealous. Now, and I won't mention his name, but I know you're jealous. And I get these crazy emails, but I know if he ever were to put a leg over this bike on a beautiful day like we have today, fill up that tank, he'd come back with a smile on his face. And don't be jealous. A lot of people are jealous of your bike, and they're not really telling you the truth. They're wishing they could have it. But beside the point, This is a bike that grew on me right from day one. It isn't a bike that grows on everybody. And I've heard people say, and everybody's entitled to opinion, they don't like this styling, they don't like that styling, they don't like this, they don't like that. But what happens is, once you ride the bike, your opinion changes very quickly. An example is the seat. When I bought the bike, I looked at the seat and I said, oh man, that seat is really thin. I threw a leg over the bike and I said, oh my God, it fits me perfect. It's nice and narrow in by where it joins the tank. And after you go on a long ride especially, you think, wow, how did they do that? I don't know how they did that, because I've seen bikes with big, fat, thick seats, and 3 hours into the ride, you need to go see the chiropractor. Now, a lot of things make it special to me. It adapts well to the kind of roads that I like to ride on, back roads, a lot of twisties, a lot of off-camber stuff. I'm not big on riding out Route 80, laying on a gas tank at 150 miles an hour. I like the twisty back roads. I like to share them with my friends on weekends. We go on group rides. And the main thing is, these roads, very, very low law enforcement. And for me, there's so many things about this bike that I enjoy. It was the first bike I ever had that had a quick shifter. I had to add it on, but it was so much fun that I eventually got one for my R1 too. There's just something about the power band, and Yamaha is famous for doing this, is they get a lot of the torque down low. It's torquey. It's not like a two-stroke or like an R6. It grunts and groans. If you're in a gear too high, doesn't seem to make much difference. And the thing I like more than anything else is all the safety features, the ABS, the drive modes, every possible part of it just makes the ride so much more fun and, of course, safer. And a big one for me, it's the only bike I have in my collection that I have traction control on. So when the roads get really slippery and they're going to start very soon too with the wet leaves, and then they're going to salt the roads, and all during that time, what happens is you always have a little safety net at your back. So I always think, when I look back at buying this bike, and the bike, it went out the door for what I thought was a really, really good price when I compared it to other bikes that were similar. And this is not the one with the high-end suspension, the SP model, but to me, it's certainly good for the kind of riding I do. I'm not racing anybody anymore, so if somebody has one that's a little bit faster, we can still enjoy a bagel and whatever. But the bike, and it's the biggest thing to always keep in the back of your mind, the bike has to suit your riding needs. And I think a side benefit is riding the back roads. You're just using more energy, and as opposed to sitting on Route 80 in a lounge chair and opening the throttle, back and forth on the gas, on the brakes. This is good exercise, and it's good mental exercise. And one of the little things I wanted to accomplish with all the custom touches I did, and the biggest one, of course, is painting those wheels. That's a great set of videos out on the channel. If you're looking to paint a set of wheels, I mixed my own paint, and it worked out great. It would just could not be better. And Vlad, thank you for getting some of the carbon fiber parts like the fender for me and the hugger. I made some of the carbon fiber parts. The little windscreen with the little wings, that's a custom one of a kind part I made from two pieces that I got from China. That there's just so many little things about this that and when I look back and I try to explain to people, and it's hard, why do you like that bike? And they get excited about it. And why don't you buy this bike or buy that bike? This bike's faster, this bike's more expensive, this bike has this feature, this is that. It's just hard to explain. There's something about this particular motorcycle, I don't know what it is. difficult to explain. I try to, but I know I'm not really good at doing it. But I love to sit back and look at it. I love the styling cues. To me, it has the look of maybe the factory could have made it. I've done a lot of work. The graphics, the custom graphics for the side, John Pothier was such a big help with that. That tail section that I made, the full tail section, is a carbon fiber part I made from scratch. And looking back 5 years, over 5 years, it's been quite an adventure. I've been so happy to be able to share it with my friends on YouTube and the people that do appreciate picking up good little tips on painting and polishing and whatever, styling. Well, and people that share their adventures with me. I try to share the adventure that I've had in motorcycling my whole life. So there's probably a lot of ways to look at this. There's a lot of ways you can describe it. This is the easiest way I know. This is what I call a true keeper. It's the bike you buy, the bike you love, and the bike you keep. Now, if you're new to our channel, we have a very, very eclectic channel. One of the new features we have now is some of the videos are grouped into groups that you can access all the videos for one category in one mouse click. And it should be very convenient and very handy. Just check out the feature on the main screen playlist. And thanks to everybody for supporting the channel. We appreciate your support, and it makes this channel possible with all the things we do, the painting, the wheels, the polishing. And please take a second or two and hit the like button. And thanks everyone for watching.